Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more Hearts of Iron 4, Kaiserreich, playing as the Russian Empire. Hope you all had a very nice holiday season. I certainly enjoyed a couple of days with family, and now we have to get back into things. Where did we leave off? Well, Dmitry III of Romanov is the new Tsar of the Russian Empire. We are currently working on some focuses to get better tank tech, which I'm hoping to make use of in the near-ish future. I believe we started fabricating a claim against Azerbaijan. Yes, we did, with the goal of snagging all of their oil. They've got a fair bit sitting right here that the Germans are importing, which means we can force the Germans to buy it from me, which is good for my economy, but also makes the Germans dependent upon me, so that if I have to fight the Germans, they suddenly find that they don't have a whole lot of oil sitting around. They'll have their fuel reserves, but it's only a matter of time before that dies out. Not a lot of point in having your German tanks if you can't fuel them, right? So that sounds pretty good for me. But of course, to do that and fight Azerbaijan, we likely will have to fight the remainder of the Istanbul Pact, which includes the Ottoman Empire, which I had no beef against, but if you're going to protect Azerbaijan, well, I'm just going to have to find a way to deal with you, aren't I? Yes. All right, for real, though, now what actually are we going to do? What am I researching again? Right, we were trying to get some more upgrades to some planes. We were getting our medium tanks, working on doctrines, concentrated industry, some air doctrine. All of that is good. We are still trying to steal some industrial blueprints from the Germans. It's going to be a while, unfortunately, before that is going to be done. Still, certainly all quite helpful. All right, well, let's just go ahead and move forward at speed 5 and see exactly what's going to happen. Whoa. Oh, that's my spy network. Yeesh, I saw the green suddenly pop up and I thought someone just did a tag switch. What's going on down here, by the way? The Republic of Syria. You've extended all the way down to Jerusalem. Well, now ain't that interesting. Yeah, the Ottoman Empire may not survive long enough for me to go and take out Azerbaijan. That would be highly unfortunate if that were the case, given that we have 185 days to go. But oh well, c'est la vie, such is the way of things. Now, I would love to start training up some more units. Just a few more. I don't want more of these guys. They're not helpful. Heavy armor divisions are not what I need. Where's my defensive divisions? It's these guys. Right, so they use light tanks. Right now, I don't have a whole lot of those in storage, do I? I got 361. We could either start converting some units into this new version, which would probably make some sense. We also should go ahead and just make these guys 20 combat width, to be honest. Let's go ahead and do that now. I'm not going to give these guys heavy tanks. We aren't producing enough to justify that. But with that much armor, they should be okay-ish. Okay-ish. So we could train some new ones, or I could convert my units. Well, I'm kind of thinking... First off, how much artillery do I have? Plenty. Let's go ahead and toss on some support artillery here. And then I'm going to go ahead and start training a bunch more, because we really haven't been training, like, any units this entire time. And I think that would be worth doing. Of course, that does mean that we're using up some of our precious, precious manpower, but it's okay. Let's just go ahead and train up at least a handful more. Can only fit 8 there. I'd love to train up to 24. I think that's going to be a bit excessive. Let's just train up 12 for now. And we'll see how that works. I need to have at least one army that is specialized in holding the defense of some ground. I don't know where, but somewhere. We're going to wish that we had that ability. Do I have any war goals that I could be using? I mean, we already fought against, let's say, Finland. We took them as a puppet. I do remember that. Integrate a bunch of different places. We can attack Lithuania, Ukraine, and White Ruthenia. Pretty sure all of you are part of the Reichspakt, though. Yes, they are. So I can fight all 3 of these guys, but that accomplishes very little to me unless I'm willing to fight the Germans at the same time, which I do not want to do until the Third Internationale has led the charge themselves. We'll end up crushing the Germans between Russia and the West, which, you know, that's historically accurate in a different parallel universe. We'll take over all of Eastern Europe, and then we're going to have to figure out how we want to deal with the syndicalists. There's going to be a little bit of a pain in the patootie, you know what I mean? But, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Managed subjects. We want to try to integrate Finland at least at some point. It's going to cost not much in the way of political power, at least to make them into an integrated puppet, which is good. Yeah, that's not bad. We could probably do some of that, but you can see here I kind of am trying to build a lot of military factories because I'm very soon going to have full access to all of my medium tanks. Or do we already have that? No. I am working on access to medium tanks. And between medium tanks for our primary breakthrough, heavy tanks for space marines, and light tanks for defensive armies, we need a lot of production, is what it's coming down to. I think I'm going a little too ham on this. I should have skipped at least one form of tank and gone down for one or the other. I think if I had gone exclusively for light tanks to make good defensive divisions, that would have been fine. If I had gone for exclusively heavy tanks for Space Marines, that would have been fine, but both was a mistake, I think. Because we've split our production, and the result is we haven't been able to really take advantage of either. So that was a mistake on my part. I am pretty sure that I should not have done that. So with these guys here, though, we probably could go ahead and start duplicating and creating some Space Marines, yes? So let's go ahead and duplicate this. And we are going to create Space Marines with these guys. Now, the ideal Space Marines actually swaps out infantry for Marines or Mountaineers or something like that, because you can stack up loads of organization on those guys. However, the downside to that is you are now capped by your Special Forces limit. The alternative to that, of course, is to use an exploit where you train up like 200 two-width armies, which is basically just one unit, right? Get a whole load of those deployed, your entire manpower pool, swap all of them to 20 width, so technically you have something like 20 million manpower deployed, even though you don't have enough manpower to reinforce that. And with that deployed, quote-unquote, manpower, then you can just train up as much Special Forces as you want, like 100 more of those, and then you simply delete all those divisions, get your manpower back, but you still have the Special Forces in training down here. It doesn't force you to get rid of them. Unless something's changed on that, that's how it used to work. So that's, you know, a thing. That's a thing you can do. But let's go ahead and start creating some heavy tank divisions. So this is going to go back to the 20 combat width. We're going to, of course, toss in the maintenance companies, the engineer companies. We'll toss in some artillery and also probably some recon. I don't think we want to use anything else. That's enough. That's 65. But this is Space Marines right here. And the advantage of these Space Marines is they've got a pretty decent amount of armor, a lot more than my regular infantry. They have a tiny bit of piercing, but they got some pretty decent soft and hard attack, considering I just swapped out one infantry for these heavy tanks. So these aren't bad. What you really want to do is turn these guys into 40 combat widths, but we'll stick with this for the moment. So our Space Marines now exist. Let's swap out an icon. I'll go ahead and give you guys, let's say the death tank symbol. That'll be fine. Okay, so can we train up a few of these? The answer should be yes. I don't think we can train up a lot, though, because I don't have a ton of manpower to go around. Fortunately, I think that tanks take less manpower. We actually have enough tanks to go for this. 12. Oh, okay. No, between 12 divisions of Space Marines and 12 divisions of defense, that's a pretty good amount. Now, we're low on manpower, so that could become an issue. But what I could always just do is increase my conscription law before we go to war. In the meantime, we just get more people fielded, and considering we haven't done that this entire game, I can't rely on these guys forever. We have to start fielding some better troops. Otherwise, what's been the point of all this production, eh? So that's what we're going to do. Okay, perfect. How are we doing on the whole trade thing, by the way? We have to import a little bit of steel. Not ideal, but we're still getting most of the advantages, I think, out of our free trade, so it's still worth doing this. We're not importing too much. I did see, by the way, a comment not that long ago, sometime in last week, explaining why I wasn't getting more civilian factories, and yeah, correct. I misremembered how something works here. Previously, at some point last week, I saw we were exporting a lot more here, and I'm like, well, why didn't we get more factories? Well, that's because we sent these guys off to market, but they haven't necessarily been bought. So out of 550 steel, we've only sold about 100 of it. That's how much we are getting as far as factories. We're getting, like, you know, 12 factories or something along those lines. So that's why we weren't gaining more immediately. I sent more off to market. I misremembered. I thought that once you sense, like, this export is tied to how much is actually being bought. So when I saw this number go up, I thought that meant we immediately were having more bought from the other AIs. Wrong on that. Oops, my mistake. But thank you for the correction on that point. Apparently some people are fighting each other, and also another faction has been formed. We have the National Pacification Army versus the United Provinces of China. Fascinating. Okay, well, that'll be fun. Elastic defense is done. Good. Game? Oh, the Qing government just capitulated. Well, that's why the game suddenly slowed down. Kaiserreich has been running slowly for me lately for some reason, and I don't really know why, and it's bothering me a little bit. Do we want to go for the Blitzkrieg or the mobile infantry? Well, I think it's pretty obvious we want to be going for the Blitzkrieg. This is only if you're good if you're going to go down like a motorized, mechanized rocket artillery kind of path. Not necessarily even rocket artillery. I'm sorry, that's not true. Mostly motorized and mechanized, though, which I'm not doing. That's stupid. Motorized, mechanized, they're better than infantry, but they're also significantly more expensive. We want 20% more breakthrough on my tanks. Yes. That is going to be powerful once I actually get some tanks. A meaningful number of tanks. But when I do, it's going to be great. It would be pretty nice to maybe expand out some of my resources. We could do that. It would cost me a bit in terms of my, political power, though. We haven't yet gotten a lot of military staff, nor changed up laws and stuff. Like, is it worth spending some of this? What we could do is start going for some propaganda, because the world's now above 50% world tension. So for 90 days, we'll get some more war support, and of course, war support is good for a lot of different things. I mean, it's good for your mobilization speed to actually take advantage of all that new manpower you plan on getting, as well as you're better at defending your own core territory. Right now, I think we're okay. This is going to be something we want to do perhaps a little bit later. I will do at least some nickel mining, though, because that's one thing that I'm not importing that I will need, and if I need it now, I'm probably going to need it later, too. So we'll go ahead and start working on that at the very least. That should be fine. Mass for the motherland. Thank you, church. For once, they come in handy. That's going to basically just turn into my nickel production right there. Nice, we prayed for nickel, and God delivered. We have finished researching our close air support. Okay. That'll be helpful, certainly. I do tend to prefer that over bombers most of the time. It is still April 1939. Could go for some radar, I suppose. Could also go for a bit more excavation. Think instead I'm going to go ahead and go for the production efficiency cap, because we are getting close to the cap on a few key areas, including things like infantry equipment. So we're going to want to be able to get a bit more efficiency on that. Seems reasonable enough, and any day now we are going to finish importing some foreign specialists, which means we are going to reduce the ahead-of-time penalty for 2 years for at least 2 researches, which is nice. Very nice, as far as tankage is concerned. Okay, with that done, we also have access to things like the National Armored School, so we research armor even faster. Plus, you get extra speed and reliability, which is great. High Command for a bonus to Doctrine, Special Forces for Mountaineers and Marines. We haven't done equipment modernization yet. Several more research bonuses we can get down this road, which is nice. Division recovery rate? Wow, that's pretty good. Huh, what do you know? Political power? Computing? Wow. Some of that's actually pretty good. Wait a minute. Huh. Yeah, I like these. What else do we have as far as the political side of things, though? Seek allies. Do we want to just go ahead and create the Moscow Accord? Would that make sense? Rearmament program. For 1 year, we have less consumer goods to worry about. Also the Russian Academy of Sciences. The Russian sphere, I don't know who we can bring into that. I do want the freedom to attack Germany, so we need to make progress down this in order to be ready to attack the Germans once they're fighting France. So we've got to go down this. If that's the case, let's go ahead and grab the rearmament program. We'll reduce my consumer goods. We'll start producing even faster, right? More factories, just building lots more stuff, and out of those factories, even more factory output, which will be nice so we can start training up more regiments. The sooner we do this, the sooner we get equipment, the sooner I'll be able to start actually, like, updating all of my templates and getting my units properly equipped. That's going to have to be the goal there. So we'll see if that ends up being the right choice. I don't know what the Russian Academy of Sciences means. I'd like to think it's going to result in a research bonus. But it also might be the thing where, like, for example, it's like your faction research bonus, and I don't have a faction yet, so is that helpful? Is it not? I have no idea. Looks to me like the Ottomans are definitely having some trouble. They're getting speared in several directions from Syria, and they're losing ground in Saudi Arabia. Iran also is making some good pushes down over here. How much longer? Oh gosh, I don't know. I really don't know. Azerbaijan is doing a pretty good job of holding their ground here against Iran thanks to the mountains. But I really don't know we're going to be able to take that down before the Ottomans fall and the faction is over. Maybe. Maybe. Totally possible. Just not thinking it's likely. Let's go ahead and also start getting some upgrades to our support companies. We've ignored those for a while. Engineers, always worth it. So we can certainly start there at the very least. And air superiority doctrine there is done for more fighter detection. Could work on interception or ground support. All of that's good. But I think we're also going to go ahead and grab... Well, let's see. No, we actually need an upgrade for our infantry equipment. I just realized we have also ignored that. Better guns? Better guns for general infantry? Yes. High priority item. What's going down here with the Princely Federation? It looks like the Dominion of India actually made several naval invasions down the south and are actually taking them down from in here. Ooh. High stakes, but potentially a very good strategy. Looks like they're also fighting the Buryatia Commune. So am I just seeing that India is basically entirely at war with everybody? Yeah, India is in complete disarray right now. 3 factions and a free-for-all. Who will emerge victorious? I'm gonna expect the Dominion of India, especially if they can successfully take out the Princely Federation. Sometimes the Buryatia Commune does win, though, and that actually has serious implications for the Third Internationale, and whether we are going to see them winning or not. So let's see. Tank manufacturing, I mean, I love getting extra soft attack and reliability. It's pretty darn good. We could also just make medium tanks in general cheaper by a lot, which means we could actually start producing tons of them. So what's better, high quality or catch up on armor? Quality, so this applies to all armor, including heavy tanks. But those will never end up being my breakthrough. Like, the biggest deal is actually going to be these. Medium tanks. We could go for heavy tank manufacturer, and that actually does also lend a little bit of extra benefit to Space Marines. I'm actually highly tempted to do this just as a catch-up mechanic. I don't normally like this because I prefer quality stats. Stats are king. But when the stats don't matter if I don't have the tanks for breakthrough divisions. I'm going to go with my gut on that one. We are going to go for cheaper tanks. I can always swap this out later. But this will let me start catching up and actually building those mediums aggressively as soon as we are done researching these in a few days. There's the Ottoman Empire finishing Anatolian Kurdistan. Okay. So they haven't finished their war and they're still losing, I would say. But they were at least able to take out one thorn in their side. But that does open up a front line with Iran that once again they have to deal with. Yeah. Hold on just a little bit. Longer. What? Why am I no longer justifying? What happened? Alright. I think maybe I was justifying on a state like this, which just slightly lost some of its control, which means I'm no longer justifying or something. But I'm no longer justifying on Azerbaijan. It's going to take 185 days. Great. No, great. Okay, so I messed that up. That messes me a little bit. Okay, here's what's happening then. Maybe the Ottomans are going to die, and Iran will take over Azerbaijan or something, and by attacking Iran, we will be able to eat all of this. So maybe that's the next thing to do. We were promised opportunities to screw over Iran. Maybe we will still get that. Let's go ahead and see if we can seek some allies prior to some of these wars. Let's see who I'm able to bring in, because that might change who I want to attack and who I don't. Maybe Azerbaijan just willingly, like, could join a faction. I mean, they're already part of Istanbul's pact, but maybe they change or something. I don't know. It's worth checking at least to see what that's going to be, and having a faction of my own, it can be great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead of time on these medium tanks. It's only going to take 92 days. Which is really good. Let's go to my production. We will, of course, start preparing the medium tanks and building up efficiency on these. Still have a lot more to go. I'm trying to build up some anti-air. That's a poor man's piercing value. And some close support. But then after that, yeah, hard on the medium tanks. We may even need to start pulling back on the heavy tanks. Depending. I still kind of want to convert a lot of my current units into Space Marines. Right? Because we got some of these guys here who have lots of artillery. Or if I got that wrong entirely. Hang on. Yes. Let's change your icon real quick. We're going to make you like this. Okay? Just so I know what we're looking at. Yes, okay. So these guys we could change up. And if I wanted to change you guys into being Space Marines, we have enough equipment for things like that. We will gain back some infantry equipment. And I don't even think they're going to lose any experience because I think we're going to a lower manpower value. But the point is, I can finally start transitioning out and using some of these heavy tanks. Let me actually just check that real quick. Is that true? You guys take up 13,650 versus 12,000. Oh, no. I am wrong. This actually takes more manpower, which means we are going to lose some experience on these guys as they get equipment. Okay, fair enough. Regardless, I think that that's worth doing. We're finally getting heavy tanks. Let's start making Space Marines. Convert so many of our artillery diversions. Give them some armor, let them crush. Let's go ahead and begin our justification on Iran, I guess, since I'm going to kind of commit to the idea that they're going to end up winning this. Golistan? 185 days, man. It's long and arduous. I don't think they would join any faction I want to create because they are a socialist republic, and I am a paternal autocratic system. So even if the game normally would extend them an invitation, I'm fairly confident they're going to say no. So we might as well just go ahead and justify. Here's hoping they actually do beat back the Ottomans and Azerbaijan. Because if they all lose to this and the Ottomans somehow emerge victorious, I'm going to be shocked, and I'll have wasted, once again, a lot of political power and time working against Iran. That'd be dumb. Alright, let's see what's going to happen with the whole creation of my faction. I'm very curious about this. So that's going to be done. Let's go for the Academy of Sciences just to see if we get a research bonus out of that. And we should have new decisions. New decisions. Where are you? This is not new decisions. I don't see any. Where'd you go? Maybe we just wait a day and things will pop up or something. Maybe we can get like Eastern Turkestan and Afghanistan and stuff under my control. Maybe. Decisions. Invite Serbia. Well, that's fun. One of the following must be true. Austria has been defeated by the Belgrade Pact. It has not. Austrian Empire exists. I mean, yeah, no. We apparently are not allowed to do this, I don't think, even if we have the political power. That's it. Out of all of that, with the creation of a faction, we get Serbia as an option, and we can't even invite them? I mean, I'm just gonna say that is lackluster as heck, dude. That is lackluster. Alright. Alright, that was a big waste of a national focus. We are not gonna be able to create a meaningful faction. That is for absolute sure. What's my color look like, though? It's big and green. Makes sense. The founder of the, or the leader of the faction always gets to determine the color. Whoa, what is going on down here, Ottomans? Why are the Ottomans not dead yet? What is wrong with you people? Finish them off! Gosh, dang it. Oh, and apparently Japan is fighting over the Philippines? I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, the Philippines are falling to the new Japanese Empire. Fun. Okay, here comes our engineering company upgrade. Thank you. What else do we need? Let's see. It's still not close to 1940. Don't care about the armored cars. Think we will go ahead and start working on the heavy tanks as well ahead of time, just for the raw stat boostage. And we're going to finish up the Academy of Sciences, which it says is good for collective research with our allies, which it's not like I have any, so there's that. And we can't even do this, apparently, until the Germans are at war with France. That's good, because that works out for how I plan on timing it anyway. Expansion of the library, 3% more research speed, tempting. Nuclear tech, could go for a bonus there. I hate to reduce my construction speed further. Even though I like the production efficiency cap, I don't want to do that right now. So, armor research time, max speed, reliability. Or we start working down some of the equipment modernization, trying to get to things like, I don't know, electronic warfare. Let's see, that's going to take about 140 days. I was thinking we want to get the computing technology button just around the time we hit 1940, because that will speed up my 8% research bonus. That said, the daily political power gain, regardless, is nice. So I think we do go ahead and down equipment modernization. Finally start getting some upgrades for my basic armed forces. Armor research speed is nice, but by the time we're done with this, which will be, we'll be basically done with these almost by the time we'd finish with that, that bonus, or that national focus, we wouldn't really be able to take advantage of any more armor research speed for a while. And until we're going to go to war, the extra stats don't matter as much for my tanks. So I guess I'd rather just go for some of the infantry and support artillery equipment in order to try and build that up at least a little bit. How are we doing with that whole stealing of the industrial blueprints? We have 2 months to go, and we'll find out if we can steal something else from the Germans. That would be nice. I can become a spy master. Why? My faction doesn't have anybody in it except for my own vassals, and you do not get extra spies for, you don't get extra spies for vassals. I guess we do technically get... Do we get one more operative guarantee as the spy master? Or does the first level of spy master only matter if you've already got at least 2 or 3 other allies in your faction? Maybe. I don't remember. Hey, we can integrate Alash Orda. That means we are going to turn these guys into cores. Nice. It's going to take 200 days, but it costs me nothing in order to do that, which is awesome. Advanced machining tools done. Good, good, good. So with that out of the way, for our efficiency cap, what else do we want? We apparently have a 10% boost because Finland has researched some of these. Well, ain't that fun? We can get extra fuel from oil, which is nice, I suppose. We could go ahead and start working on the resource gain efficiency, or I can work on something more useful. You guys went for the improved fire control systems, did you? Strikes me as a little bit odd, but alright. Probably time to upgrade my artillery, since that is part of the attack stats of my Space Marines. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, some of my basics I have not covered so far by 1939. Sorry, yeah, 1939. Usually I focus exclusively on the infantry and the artillery and stuff. Because we've spread so much of my research to tanks, it's slowed down a lot of my other basics. I'm spreading myself thin. I don't think I'm doing this right. But this is good experimentation on my end to see what we can get away with. Right? That still can be pretty helpful. The Legation Council, by the way, or the Legation States, joined the Entente, so that's fun. And that right there is the war against the Germans. So the French and the Germans are now fighting each other. That is the entirety of the Reichspakt that is going to be fighting against the Third Internationale, which so far exists entirely of France, Britain, and Chile, where the Reichspakt consists of, well, all of this. So without my help, the Germans actually have a very good chance of being able to defeat the Huns. No, the Third International. But if I do focus my attention down there, well, now we'd be able to have some fun. Iran, I swear to God, are you actually losing this right now? Are you actually losing this? Because I think you might actually be losing this. The Second Weltkrieg has begun. Yes, that's great. You took Tehran. Azerbaijan is actually taking down Iran. All I can say is I'm confused, and I feel like I've been bamboozled and lied to on many fronts. How? How are you winning this? Golly. The Ottomans are fighting all these people, they're still holding together, and with Azerbaijan, they actually have a good chance of winning this. Certainly from stopping me from getting my goal, which means, guess what? No fun against Iran. And I need to be gearing up to go to war against the Germans now. Okay. Well, this is good. No, this is great. Well, we're about to finish training up some more Space Marines. As we get equipment, I have been slowly but surely transitioning out some of my units in favor of said Space Marines, so we'll just continue doing some of that with the extra artillery value. We'll continue getting some more defensive armies. You guys actually need to train a little bit and try to get these guys back into regulars. These guys are going to have a whole load of Space Marines when that time comes. We're doing the thing. I'm flabbergasted and disappointed that we're not doing a bit better at the thing than I was expecting. We have enough tanks for this? Yes. Denmark joins the Reichspakt just in time to go and fight the Third Internationale. I would think the Germans have this, but I know from experience that the Third Internationale actually is kind of scary. So, not really in the mood to mess with any of them. Hello, manpower. I see that you are going away. Yes, is truth, is truth. Philippines capitulates to Japan. Grand. We've got more artillery than I know what to do with. We are out of steel once again. Let's continue trading with, you know what? Not the Germans anymore. We're going to be done with them for a bit. Let's trade with, let's trade with Japan. Just go ahead and get my steel needs that way, because I plan on fighting the Germans. Why mess with my supply lines on any of that? Why give them anything? Fuel is going down all of a sudden. Oh, that's concerning. Is that because we're just moving tanks to join up in the fight? Or does this mean that we are actually... No, we're regaining it. Good. And some more tanks are done. Okay, so now we can start producing the really good medium tanks. Plus, we still have an extra 50% on something. Really? Why? Okay. More light tanks, I suppose, would be a thing we could do. We could start working on the self-propelled artillery, but I think that might be a little bit overly aggressive to start me off. I don't see a good reason to do that yet. So, let's go ahead and start extracting extra fuel per oil. Since I'm now actually putting more tanks into my forces, more oil is going to matter. We use up fuel when even a small smidge of them start moving around, apparently. That's going to be a concern for me. And then, yeah, as soon as we are done with this equipment modernization, it may be time to go and try to crush the Germans. At the very least, take over Ukraine, White Ruthenia, Lithuania, and so on, right? We can take over 3 other little nations over here. That's got to be worth something. We'll also eat the Baltic Duchy while we're at it. And if we're not going to get a chance to fight against Iran, then really, what's the point? You guys should no longer be green, so we'll go ahead and turn that off. I'm actually going to pull you guys off over here. Let's go ahead and send all of my future Space Marines up to what was formerly the Livonian Order from EU4 and all that. Riga, hello, all of that fun stuff. So when we attack, we'll have the entire Eastern Front manned, except for Finland. Finland we will somehow need to still defend against the Swedes and the Norwegians, since they are all a part of the Reichspakt. I will feed Finland all of Scandinavia. They will truly be a Scandinavian nation by the time I'm done. Yeah, but then we can push against all of this, and then just hold the line against the Germans while I figure out how we're going to deal with France and so on. And again, I feel like we should have some options against, like, Poland and stuff at some point. So far, no, but, I mean, yeah. If we take on the German Empire, what scares me is that's going to put me in a position to go fight against France and Britain. And it may be just these two nations, but France, in this timeline, France strong. France very strong. A little concerned about that, but we'll see. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would humbly ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.
All right, let's go ahead and do it.